Fatores humanos, ansiedade.
Human factors, anxiety. The first question we should ask is, what is anxiety? Well, one day I was helping someone and I mentioned anxiety and the person asked me, Moisés, what is anxiety? I was thinking, if you get psychology or psychoanalysis books, we already have a lot of work about it in behavior studies, works that identify the anxiety or the anxiety disorder in some level. I think anxiety is when your inner speed is higher than your behavior, your physical movements. You are so internally accelerated that there's no other way but having angst, exactly because of this speed difference. It's like a pulling sensation. I mean, you think you won't have enough time to do everything you want. You have to do things very fast. I think this is uncomfortable because we can't live like this. I even dream about some things in my life that are more similar to how people lived in the past. People used to work near their houses, just 2 or 3 blocks away. They went to work walking, came back home to have lunch. Then they went back to work again. In other words, their internal life was much more organized. Think about it. I wake up, take my shower, and have my breakfast calmly. After, I put my clothes on without hurrying, say goodbye to everybody and walk to work. That is 2 blocks from my house. Okay, I do my job. We have to consider that the number of people we deal with or relate to was lower in the past than it is today. So, you work. When it's time, you say, I'll have lunch. Look, this, I will have lunch, doesn't have any pressure. Nobody would ask, hey, stay here, we need to finish something. No, I will have lunch, meant everybody went to have lunch. Then you have lunch at home calmly, because it's very near. You do what you have to do and go back to work. Their inner speed is the same as what they can manage, so they won't suffer. They won't create diseases. We create a lot of diseases now. Nowadays, we create more diseases than before. In the past, we were much stronger because we were more stable and organized. The anxiety process, which is an extreme acceleration process of our emotional mechanism, destroys us, because we need to cope with it. Instead of doing something calmly. No, you have to do it quickly. You have to finish that. You have to arrive soon. Wait for me, I'm leaving. How can a person live in a situation that anxiety just destroys everything they could be? You can't be yourself anymore. You can't do anything carefully, with much attention. And this is so important. It's interesting because a long time ago, I saw something. It was 40 years ago, more or less, from a native Indian tribe. I'll tell you what I remember because as time passes, things get. I have already told this in a lecture. A person was making arrows and there were many children playing nearby. That bunch of kids, little native Indians running around. Then, they passed where the arrows were, stepped on them and broke them. There was no reaction like, "Look what you did." No, the native Indian took the broken arrows away and continued working. This is something important for me. We should continue working no matter what happens, because these swings we have in our emotional processes are the worst disease we have. When we are annoyed, angry, aggressive, passive, this is very unhealthy. We have to get rid of it. Maybe the most important thing we can do in a lifetime is to understand how we work, then understand everything around us. You can't even understand yourself, this acceleration, this anxiety that increases. And there are levels. It can be very light, then suddenly it can also be extremely severe. The person can't deal with it. They are in a very bad internal process, with a lot of suffering. To get rid of anxiety, many times we practice sports, like swimming, running, whatever. Some kind of martial arts. This is only palliative. The idea is that we understand how we work to put things in their place and then have a happier life. Otherwise, we'll leave this world just using palliatives. This is what we have been doing. Taking medicine, doing this and that, speaking too much, trying all kinds of therapy. The therapies I'm talking about aren't those which you try to understand yourself. For example, in a physical exercise therapy, you spend your emotions. When you are doing it, you are not healing or fixing yourself. You are simply trying to find a way. It's palliative. It will come back. That isn't the way. Our anxiety has to be cured for us to live in a calmer world as well. Calmer, happier, with more time. We don't have any inner time. Our inner time is so short that unhappiness is constant. It's not possible to say, "Okay, I'll do this," and do it calmly, without worries, without having to finish something, without having to start something. Our life needs to get rid of dysfunctional processes, and anxiety is one of them.
A nossa vida tem que sair dos processos disfuncionais e a ansiedade é um deles, né?